Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. Uh, this is not going to be a family friendly video, and I'm not going to monetize this one either because what I have to say uh, is going to uh, really make a lot of people cranky. And I'm going to talk about civilians in war. Civilians in war. Um, the short, my short story is, who gives a shit? Civilians are controlled by the government under which they live, and if that government is a belligerent, then there's no such thing as innocent civilians. There's no such thing as proportionality. Um, the civilians will die, and they will die based on the goals of the military entity who is attacking their country and or their government. The reason for that is the the goal of the mission is not ever to kill civilians, right? That's the mindset, which is bullshit, but that's the mindset. Uh, the goal of the mission is to conquer, attack, stop, kill the sovereign or the country or the military subunit or take that hill or whatever, right? Uh, Almost always civilians will be in the way, right? But I pay attention here. Saving the lives of civilians never compromises the goal of the mission. The mission will always come first. If civilians die, they are part of the calculus, and that calculus is called collateral damage. Sucks to be them. Why do I say this? Well, in another life, my job was to put warheads on foreheads, and I did a real good job of that. So as did others. And every morning, we would go to the Tactical Operations Center, the TOC. On the wall would be a map, grease penciled all over it, and in that map, there would be an overlay that had red hash marks in it. Sometimes it would stay that way, sometimes it would move around. And it was really simple. Anything that moves inside the grid squares that had the red hash marks dies. It's going to die from my warheads and foreheads, it's going to die from artillery, it's going to die from B-52 strikes, it's going to die. No goal to try to save a life form that's inside those hash marks. Also known as a free fire zone. Rules of engagement are weapons hot, shoot stuff. That's just the way it is, right? We don't like to talk about that. But let's come back to this disingenuous position that a lot of countries have, and this thing, talk about Geneva Convention. The United States of America never signed the Geneva Convention, either the Soviet Union or China. Just saying. The rules of war are whoever wins gets to decide the rules of war. Whoever wins gets to decide if somebody's going to be tried for war crimes. Do you think that anyone has ever tried the United States of America for war crimes? For nuking a country, not once, but twice. And that was after firebombing the fuck out of them. That country looked just like Gaza looks today. Almost identical. Except Gaza hasn't been nuked yet. But Iran, if you pay attention, because that's what Iran's going to look like if if you guys get froggy. I'm just saying. But let's stop getting all panties in a wad because civilians get killed. Civilians get killed almost always by not accident so much as by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, it's never okay to put fire on civilians that are trying to flee. They're trying to get the fuck out of stuff. Okay, so you don't put rounds on them, right? But if they're in a place that you have to get to, and you have to go through them to get to the bad guys, and you're going to go through them to get to the bad guys, and those civilians will be collateral damage. Let me come back to this other country you're talking about. Hundreds of thousands, hundreds of thousands were incinerated by what we did. And you can still see the results in video footage and print footage. It was horrible. And a lot of those people, well, a lot of them are dead now, just age or illness. But the wounds for the survivors was terrible, right? So it wasn't just the ones that died, it was the ones that were the walking wounded for life. But that happened because the goal was to do with that country what Israel is going to do with Gaza. I want to put that in perspective. So let's not get self-righteous about shit, right? A war's a war, right? And if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, sucks to be you. The other part of that are civilians can, in some cases, in many cases, leave where they are. I was always frustrated, because remember the red hash marks? There were times where I did not engage because I could tell it was a little old lady with a straw brush sweeping dirt. And I'm going, what? I mean, come on, man. And why didn't she leave? Well, because those people are ancestral. They are tied to the land. They are tied ancestrally, generations, hundreds of thousands, to the land. If they leave that land, they cut their ties to their ancestors. And they would rather die than leave. I don't understand that. Western people don't understand that, but that is what it is, right? In the Middle East now, you have people who families, these are civilians, would say, my son or daughter is part of Hamas or Hezbollah or whichever the fuck it is, right? And we are proud of that. And if our entire family has to be martyred as a result, then we will accept martyrdom and we will not leave here. I don't get that either, but that's what happens. Now, in addition to that, Iran pays families money. So if the son or whatever gets suicide bomb or gets killed in action or whatever, the family gets paid large for each son or daughter that is martyred in going against the great Satan or going against Israel or whatever. We don't get that either, right? We don't need to. If you're a civilian and you're in the way, we're coming. Get out of the fucking way. If you can't get out of the way, better let somebody know you're there, and then we'll try to get you out of the way. But we're not going to not do what we have to do. Let me talk about this hospital thing for a minute, because they got hit the other day or yesterday over in Gaza, which was a Baptist Christian hospital. Like 300, 400, 500 people were killed supposedly, and obviously Hamas and some of the world is blaming Israel for hitting a hospital. I'm telling you, there's no fucking way the Israelis are gonna make that kind of mistake. It ain't gonna happen. The other story is that the Hamas rocket launching people put some bad shit out there, and one of them went cattywampus, got too close to the hospital, and it hit it. That is the consequence of Hamas embedding itself and its infrastructure inside of a civilian infrastructure. And they do that on purpose because they are challenging the morality of those who would attack them. They say, well, the West, the infidel, they value life so much that they won't attack those civilians to get to us. Stand by for the boom, because this is coming. And that's why Israel said to all the people, move south of the river, because if you stay up there, when we start doing our thing, we don't care if you die, because we're going to get those guys, right? It's like in a couple movies I've seen, right? And you've probably seen them too. The bad guy has a hostage, and he's got a gun to their head. Don't you shoot me, I'll kill him. And then the good guy shoots the hostage, and the bullet goes through the hostage and gets the bad guy. I'm going to get the bad guy, and you, hostage, are in the way, right? Collateral damage. That's exactly what's going on. So let's stop mourning. That's why I hate, the media. They go out and get this B-roll stuff, right? And they're always looking for the crying grandmother, the baby being held up. Baby's dead. Oh, shit, man. Who cares? They're in the way. They're in the building. And we told you to get out. You can't get out. Don't get out. I don't care. We're going for those people that are underneath you, or that are behind you, or that are far in front of you. But we're going to get them. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do, right? And in every war, that's what happened. Now, earlier I talked about the country that we nuked, right? Let's talk about Germany. Germany. Dresden, Germany. We firebombed that city, which had zero military installation, zero military value. But it did have propaganda value, and we bombed Dresden into dust. Killed gobs, thousands of civilians on purpose. On purpose. What was the military goal? The military goal was to demoralize the German population so they would stop supporting the Nazi Party, the Nazis. So let's not get self-righteous about what happens to civilians in war and why it happens to them, because it does. So having said that, if you wish to continue seeing content from this channel, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get reminders. And as always, wherever you can, however you can, whenever you can, carry on.